What's up, legends? Welcome to Stitch Chronicles podcast. My name is Felipe. This podcast is going to bring you a lot of knowledge, inspiration, motivation, everything that's going to amplify your mind and everything that's is going to be helping you a lot. And it's been helping me just being around like nice people. Just me, myself. I used to run a clothing brand business for many years before. And I know the struggles and hustles from these people coming from these type of business, and I just realized that I do a better job helping other brands. So the last 2.5 years I worked with 50, 60 different brands, and I've got a lot of knowledge on that regard. And this podcast is all about motivation, inspiration, and just and try to help as many people as possible. Today, I'm here with one of my good mates, one of my best friends, and we train together, we do business together. He runs like multiple businesses, and he's also the main sponsor for this podcast. So this being the first episode, nothing better than bringing one of the sponsors. He runs multiple businesses. He's my good mate, Gurkz, my man.
Pleasure to be here,
What's
brother.
up, bro?
Thank you for having me, and to bless the first episode of the podcast. And so here I am. You're doing some great things yourself, and you've accomplished a lot yourself in a short period of time, I see, from the amount of time that I've known you. So, also congratulations to you for making this a reality.
Appreciate it, bro.
I know it's been something in the back of your mind for a while. We've been talking about it,
man.
and it just needed to happen. So
Yeah.
it's finally happened, and we're both here. We're doing the podcast. Here's the first session, so let's get into it.
Yeah. And as I want to start with all the people that I'm bringing to the podcast, pretty much they all run successful business. I want to start from the beginning. So what's your beginning? Like, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where did you came from? What's your childhood look like? How did you go like growing up?
Yeah. So how detailed do you want it?
How was your childhood, then how your childhood, brought you up to open your first business, and yeah, because people people relate with us, like they come from whatever backgrounds. Absolutely. And there's a lot of people trying to open new businesses, there's people running new business, and we just want to bring as much value, as possible. So if you can share your knowledge with us, man.
Of course. So my story is I was born in Turkey in the heartland of a state called Kayseri. And my family migrated to Australia, I believe, shortly after 1987. So I was born in Turkey. We migrated over here for opportunity. Typical story. The import story of coming over here for more opportunities.
How young? What was your age?
I turned 1 in Australia. So
I was a baby.
1988 or so. And we first went to Wollongong, Sydney. And then we made the move to Mildura. So shout out to all my Mildura. I grew up there. A lot of my childhood and my teenage years I spent in Mildura. And Mildura, Victoria, it's known for its the grape farms, the orange farms. There's a lot of things that it's also known for. Some good, some not so good. It's the crossroads to a lot of things. It's close to Adelaide. It's 6 hours out of Melbourne.
Down south.
And then you just go 15 minutes, closer to the bridge of New South Wales border. So it's very, it's a very interesting place. And, growing up when I first got to Mildura, my first friends were Aboriginal. So that was very interesting there. And, I learned and, discovered a lot when I was young growing up. So fast forward, I done college, studied in Mildura and started my, I guess you need to know how I got started. So
did you do uni at all? Or?
No, I didn't do uni. I went to high school, finished Mildura Senior College. Throughout my schooling years, I was into like philosophy, did a lot of drama, like as in acting arts. I was into all of those types of things. I was quite good at those things. I found passion in those things, sports, PE, all that type. And so what happened, how my journey began, I guess, was really started at when I was about 15 years old. So when I was 15 years old, I unexpectedly and tragically lost my father. So when that happened, I went down a bit of the rabbit hole, you know, some of the books he had written and things of that nature. And so I pretty much had to become the man of the house almost instantly. I didn't really have time to kind of think about it or how do I do this. So, you know, as we all have, we all make mistakes growing up. You know, we idolize the wrong people sometimes, and, you know, we learn from our mistakes, and that's pretty much where I discovered myself, you know, trial and error. So I basically had to become the man of the house.
You had to be responsible since a young age.
Yeah, very responsible. I had to give up a lot of things at a young age.
But you did like end up like partying and doing like
yeah,
fun
I did,
things as a kid.
Of course, yeah. So I was being, you know, dragged out a lot, and, you know, I was quite enjoying that. But I was also very, I was logical. So I wouldn't do things that I knew would, you know, end up in, you know, a 5-minute decision is going to end up in a prison for the next 50 years, you know, something along those lines. I was very mindful of what I was doing, and I followed my intuition a lot. But at the same time, a lot of the mistakes come from not following my intuition, but just going based off of what I wanted to do, like temptations, right? So,
and in the back of your mind, you had your mom to look after. You had to look after your mom, so you couldn't.
Exactly.
Mess up, you know.
Exactly. So, being the man of the house, I had to look after my mother and my sister. My sister done quite well for herself. She went to university, and I helped my mother. Well, soon as my father passed away, what happened was I started working as well as studying in order to be able to support my mother. So that's when I started to see that I need to be a responsible man. And to be a man, you need to be responsible. You need to be disciplined. You need to be able to get up in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning when you don't want to, go to the block and work, and come home at 9 o'clock, have a shower and go to school. You know, when I was falling asleep on the desk at school, and no one knows this story, you know, people would always be like, oh, wake up, what are you doing? You know, look at this guy. You know, people chucking, you know, paper at my back of my head. I've been through all that. People calling me Gurkan and, you know, burger and all this. I had to go through all of that, you know, and so growing up through that, especially when 9/11 happened, forget it. Things was even worse for me then, you know, I came up in an era where there was still racism. So I experienced that. But at the same time, I was in a very multicultural place in Mildura. So I experienced a lot. I learned a lot. And I learned one thing very early, and that was it doesn't matter about the color of the skin or the religion. It's the person and how that person is. You know, you can get the good and the bad in so many different types of walks of life. It's just how that person is raised, how they're dealing with their overcoming traumas and whatnot.
Because you grew up in Australia as an Aussie. You came here
Correct,
at 1 year old, you know, like a baby.
Absolutely.
And you grew up as an Aussie, but at the same time, you speak two languages,
Yeah,
right?
I speak Turkish fluently. You know, me and my mother always speak Turkish at home. And, you know, absolutely. And so coming back to the story of how I graduated to, I guess, my type of success was seeing the learning to be disciplined and to be committed to doing certain things. So it comes with sacrifice. And a lot of people don't want to make that sacrifice. Like with me, I guess I took a lot away from my own life because I wanted to go out and party, but I knew I had to wake up the next morning to work.
Yeah.
So I'd come home at 3 o'clock.
What sort of work are you doing at the time?
At the time, just block work, some block work and everything else. And my life really changed.
Just like tradie?
Just like, you know, picking oranges, bunch trimming. You know, that's very popular in Mildura. You know, it's just some pocket money to put some money towards the house mortgage payments.
Yeah.
So obviously it becomes hard when, you know, you're a single parent trying to pay a house mortgage. And, you know, you've got this testosterone-filled 15-year-old son growing up to be 18. And so luckily for me, and I always give props to this person, he's like an older brother of mine, my very good friend, his name's David Samara Singh, is an amazing person. His family moved in next door, and he got into a job at Harvey Norman. And he says to me, we were going to the gym together at the time, you know, similar to how we met. And we're at the spa, and I said, this block work's killing me. You know, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to go to the block and then have to go to, you know, high school. Like, when I finish work, I need to do something.
At the time, you're doing any sports and any like activities at all?
So when I used to play soccer from when I was very young. I got into playing soccer when I was around about in '96. So I was very young. You know, I was playing for under like 11s, and so I got into soccer. And then shortly after, when my father passed away, I was being reminded of him picking me up and doing the father thing. So I didn't want to do soccer anymore. I wasn't really good at soccer, to be honest. I was just doing it because my father wanted me to be in a sport, and he's like, "Soccer's the sport. You have to go and do soccer." And my father was a very tough love type of person. Like he wasn't very affectionate with me, but he was kind of like, you know, this is good for you. You have to do.
He wanted the best for you.
Of course, yeah. At the time, of course, I didn't understand. So it was like my you know, the person I would fear. So I went from soccer to actually getting into the gym, and funny enough, because when I used to go to my local post office, you know, do you remember the Flex magazines?
Yeah, old school. Yeah.
Do you remember how they used to look at the front covers, so where they're posing in the
Oh, they're bodybuilders on the front.
Yeah. So one day I decided to buy my own magazines, not thinking, what's my dad going to think if he ever discovers this? You know, big guys juiced up, you know. So he finds this one day and he goes, "What's this?" You know, he absolutely trips out, has a look, and he's like, "Okay, it's not gay porn, you know." So sweet. And
there's a lot of good information at Flex. Training,
100%.
nutrition, like everything.
Absolutely. And back then it was more so like Dorian Yates and, you know, Lee Priest, you know, Ronnie Coleman.
All of them.
Yeah, all the giants, you know, and I was just like, man, I want to look like that. I want to look like just you know, the cartoon characters with the big round muscles that are shredded. You know, I want to look like that. And so I got into the gym because of that. And I started at the age of 15, and we weren't allowed to join until like, you know, 17. Because at the time there was a myth like if you join the gym early, it stunts your growth. Which is bullshit, absolute bullshit. And so I got into the gym, and I was actually idolizing several other people that were already in the gym. They were older than me. They were absolute gentlemen, you know. And one went on to being Mr. Australia and New York Pro, and winning competitions. And he was awesome. I used to look up to him actually. And I said to him one day, I said, you know, can I start at the gym? Can I come to the gym? And I think he had to talk to the gym owner, because at the time in Mildura, we used to just have a small gym. It used to be upstairs, just a couple of treadmills for warm-ups, maybe like one rowing machine, a couple of bench presses, you know, some deadlift.
Just the basics.
Yeah, very basic.
Whatever
equipment.
you need. You need the basics, true.
Yeah. So I got into that and started to learn myself, really, because back then it's really hard to get a trainer. Everyone was focusing on doing things for themselves, you know, competing or, you know, all that. So I was kind of asking them, and they'd help me, they'd spot me. So I got into it like that.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky of you just being like in your first gym, being around like these people.
Absolutely.
You know?
I was very fortunate because I got to ask questions to people that went on to being champions. So, you know, how to do the right, you know,
movement, whatever.
Yeah. The isolations. I got
what do you eat? Or
what to eat.
Yeah.
How much sleep should I get? You know, my question used to always be, why can't I put on weight? And I used to think I used to eat a lot, but trust me, I wasn't eating enough. But yeah, so coming back into that, I was at the gym, and then my neighbor moved in, and now at this point, I think I'm like, you know, 18. I'm about to finish high school. I don't have a job. I don't want to be on the block all my life. Because, you know, let's be honest, you know, if you go into that cycle of, you know, the block's the only thing that's paying me good, I'll just do what I know. You waste your life away. And I had this deep desire to do something for myself. Look, I know I didn't come to this world to follow the crowd. My friend, I've already made enough sacrifice. I've lost plenty of people, you know, standing in my truth and doing what I want to do, right? And again, like I guess I'd rather be real than to be liked, and it is what it is, you know. But so he says to me, David says to me one day, we're kicking back in the spa, and I said, Dave, I can't keep doing this. I don't want to go back to the block, man. Like, I'll do anything. He says, let me have a talk to the owner of Harvey Norman, and I'll see if I can get you a job there. And a week later, I was there, done my first interview, and mind you, I didn't even have a proper suit.
You were 16. You were 16 at that time.
17.
Yeah.
Going on to 18. Sorry, no. I would have been about 18. Yeah. So, because I was just about to finish high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I had my P's. I'm pretty sure I had my P's. So I think I just started as I was finishing school. And then what happened was, he says, "Okay, look, listen. I'll tee up an interview. Show up. You know, dress nice. Be yourself." Man, I didn't even take any resumes with me. Nothing. I didn't
just rocked up.
I just rocked up. I was literally in Adidas trackies. I was in a jumper. My mum was like, "You need to buy good slacks. You need to buy a top." I said, "Yeah, I should have, but I didn't really have time. I didn't know I was going to be called to the interview. To be honest, I wasn't expecting it at all." So I rocked up, and they didn't like the look of me, you know. And so the first interview was terrible. I didn't get the job. The second time I went, he organised and he said to them, "Look, listen, just really hear him out, give him a chance." I went in there with slacks and a top. The boss wasn't convinced. He didn't really want me there. The third time I went, something just came over me, and I said to him, "Listen," I said, "you give me a chance."
You went to the same interview like 3 times.
Yeah, I said to the boss, something came over me. I said, "Listen, you give me a chance." I said, "I'll be the best salesman, and I promise you, I'll be the best salesman," I said, "you'll ever see in your life." I said, "Because I don't want to go back to working on the block, under the sun, you know, breathing in that dust, blowing my nose out every time I come home with dust coming out of my nostrils, you know." I said, "I've seen my mother suffer. I've seen my father suffer. I've seen my elders suffer on the blocks just to give us a good life." I said, "Give me a chance, train me, I'll be the best salesman." And I kid you not, Felipe, I kid you not, I have certificates I could even show to the world that I was the best salesman for Harvey Norman. We used to do this thing called flexi rent. So if you were able to sell them on flexi rent, if they're a business owner, they can claim so that now it's benefiting them. But at the same time, you're making commission. So I was like, "Okay, how much commission do I make?" They're like 20%. Back then, because flexi rents were hard to get. So I'm like, "Hold on a minute, 20%. I'm like, "Okay.
That's good commission.
I'm like, "That's real good commission. That's real good commission, right?" So they gave us like this flexi card. So all your commission would go into the flexi card, and then you'd get paid your wage.
Hourly rate,
Yeah. So I started signing everyone up to flexi rent, and my boss calls me into the office one day, and he goes,
What the fuck's going on here?
he says, "What are you doing?" I said, how are you selling these people?" And the thing is, the first boss that hired me, he took off. I was actually stickering products when the new franchisee came in. His name was Dave Ray. He also has a big a big play in how I was able to shape up, especially teaching me sales. You know,
So you got training from somewhere. You got like coaching from someone.
Davis and Dave Ray are the main guys that kind of pushed me. Said, you know, this is the fundamentals of sales. You know, you need to be able to sell the benefit. You need to be able to help them. You have to listen to that individual and what their needs are, and then tailor that product to their needs. You have to really understand. You have to really listen. So anyway, I started selling like crazy, man, like from a little country town. And back then we had this little small computer store at the very back end of Harvey Norman. And we went on to actually a major renovation and expanding into like this whole back area of the computer and electrical goods. And I was there for the whole lot. And so what happened was I started winning awards. But to me, I'm making money. And this is, you know, and I didn't know how much of a good salesman actually was.
It was just natural.
It just came natural.
Yeah.
You know, listening to people, what do you need? This is what I need. This is what I need to do. Oh, okay, now where is that? Oh, here's your laptop, and you're going to need a cover. You know, you don't want to pay $2,500 and drop it and be in the risk of, you know, the breaking like that. So maybe you should get a laptop, you know, a case with that. And FlexRent covers you with extra insurance. If it breaks, you can bring it in. We'll give you a new one. Really? Yeah, absolutely. Are you into business? Yeah, absolutely. So that's how I was selling, right? So I went from that. I was learning my sales there, and I was doing good. At the age of 22, I built my own house in Mildura. We've developed our land home package. And
so you worked from having normal from 18 to like 22, 4 years?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, around about that time.
It's a long time in a company.
Yeah.
These days, yeah.
Yeah, it is. But I accomplished a lot in a short period of time. You know, I became a hardware manager, you know, coaching my team how to become a good salesman and how to also increase their sales. You know, like I was doing like 60 laptop sales a month, man. That's a lot of money for laptops, you know. And I was, as a regional store, I was competing with state stores. Like there's a magazine called FlexiWire. And on the FlexiWire, it shows you regional people that are coming first. And I was like top of the list. And then I was also comparing you to like the sales figures from regional to the city stores and, you know, metro areas. And I was like top 15, top 10. They're like, who the fuck is this guy?
So at 20, you make like more than 100K a year.
Yeah, I was pretty much earning good commission. Brother, I had an R34 Skyline back then, and people were like, how the fuck did he buy that? I had police pulling me over all the time, searching my car for drugs. Yeah, I was making good commission. I was making this. And it's crazy because, you know, the harassment was also ruled by the law, because I'd go to Harvey Norman, I got pulled over in front of my store just so they could make an example out of me. And they never proved anything. I never got caught with drugs, never got caught selling drugs, never caught doing any of that bullshit, you know, and worked hard for my money and established my life, built my first house at the age of 22. But then shortly after, another adversity comes along. And this is where I want people to kind of pay attention to. Obstacles and adversities are always going to come about in life. And this could have really broken me because I find out my mother has a brain tumor.
Holy shit, that's, yeah.
Yeah, and at this time, I'm working for Harvey Norman. You know, I'm at a good place. I've just built my house. I need to pay my own mortgage. You know, I just helped my mother pay her own house off. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, what's going to happen? And then now I start going into my own mind. You know, am I going to be an orphan? Am I going to lose my mother? I can't afford to lose my mother. What's going to happen? Who's going to look after my sister? She's coming up. So that was really tough times because there was a lot of promises made from a lot of certain individuals that are no longer in my life, you know. And it's taught me to really believe in yourself and to not to rely on anybody, not to really open up to anybody because, man, I was in some really, really tough times, you know. And when I went to the, to the hospital, to the doctors way before the hospital, they said to me, listen, she's got a tumor on her frontal cortex, which, do you know what that is? I said, kind of. They said, that's responsible for all of your operations, your smell, your sight, your memory, walking, standing, just basic functions. And I'm like, so what are you saying? They said, we suggest you enjoy the best time with her as you possibly can for the next 6 months because it's growing fairly rapidly. And she may not be here, so you need to make some memories. And
fuck, man, that would be like a hit, eh?
Yeah, I was 22 years old, and I was like, fuck this. I didn't want to accept it. I was like, no. And I remember saying to God, I started to really believe in God at this point. I was really praying. Before that, I was a believer in God. You know, I had faith. But now I kind of, from my deep, deep parts of me, from all of my heart, was like, God, please, like, show me a miracle. I'm ready to give up my car. I'm ready to give up my job. I'm ready to change my whatever I need to do for her to survive and be there for us in the future. I'm ready to give up. I'm ready to make sacrifices, you know. And then, funny enough, my mother meets this specialist that was in Mildura at the time, about a week after we found out. And props to this man if he's listening, Dr. Christopher Tian. He saved my mother's life. Man.
But before that, what was her symptoms? She was just feeling like headaches or nauseous?
The most traumatizing thing was it started 3 o'clock in the morning one night. I came home. It was like on a Friday or Saturday night. And my mum's voice came to me really faintly. And I jumped out of bed. I knew something was wrong. And she fainted and she was having a seizure in the kitchen. And I don't know what was going on. I thought she was having I don't know. You know, and I'm like, Mum, you know, I'm just shaking her, and she came to herself. I said, Mum, what's wrong? Are you okay? What happened? And she's like, I don't know. She was fearful. I can see her in her eyes. And then
just out of nowhere.
And then we got scans done, and the scans showed that she had a tumor growing in her brain. And then so then after I got told this by the doctors, I didn't want to believe it. I went back to work and I said, listen, this is what's going on. They said, we're sorry to hear that. You know, if you need any time off or whatever, let us know. I said, okay, no problem. And then it gradually got worse. You know, the seizures, headaches were really bad. She wasn't really able to cook for us or provide really, you know, so I was really doing a lot for me and my sister. It really put a lot of stress on my sister and myself, you know. So I was just really cut down on enjoyment of my own life and just really started caring for my mother and just to be the best I can be, you know, praying and making sure that, because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? I got a lot of support from my neighbors as well at the time. Again, same person that got me the job. You know, we became really close family friends. And a lot of them were very supportive. My uncles, my aunties, especially one of my aunties, she came down from Turkey, left her whole family for years. And they didn't allow her family into the country for years just to take care of my mother, just so she can take care of us. So I will never forget that. And that enabled me to go, you know what, I need to step up. I need to do something different. Just, you know, whatever's going on is pushing me to a new direction. And this is another thing, you know, my message to the audience at this point is this. We have to see the blessing in the adversity. regardless, because at this point, I mean, I was broken. Getting prepared, I might lose my mother and that's it. So what happened was we find this doctor, Dr. Christopher Tian, and he says, listen, we can do the private operation, but if you wait on the waiting list on the government, you're not going to survive. You've got a growing tumor. You don't have time. You've got 2 kids that love you. He said, you have to do it privately. How do I do it privately?
Pay 100 grand.
Without this, you can't save nobody. And that's why people go, oh, but money isn't everything. Yeah, I fucking tell you right now, money is everything.
It helps a lot.
Money is what saved my mother's life. I'll tell you what happened. So we had to pay up a certain figure. And we said, okay, no problem. So I decided to go back to Harvard and said, okay, you know what? This is what I need to do. I had just bought a house. I had just organized all of my furniture for the house. Had my home theater room. I had these leather chairs. I had tables. I said, I don't want none of them. All the deposit I paid, all the things I ordered, I'm sorry, but I can't take any of this.
I need the money back to pay for my mom's.
They said, absolutely, Gurkz, no problem. Because at that point, I had spent like 16, 17K on just furniture.
Yeah.
You know? So I gave it all back. I sold my R34. Prior to selling my R34, I'll get to that in a sec, but what happened was I said, okay, we're going to pay for this first. So anyway, we ended up covering securing the appointment. She went and got her operation done, and she came to, and her biggest passion was, you know, flowers and smelling flowers and talking to them, and, you know, that was her only a big passion outside of, you know, raising us. And the doctor says, you're very lucky. Your mother's a very strong person because, you know, she refused to give up. She had staples on her head.
But they literally just opened her head open.
They removed her skull.
Holy shit.
And they went into her frontal cortex and they operated and removed the tumor. They cut the tumor out.
Like scoop it out like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking hell, man.
And they didn't know what to expect when they put her skull back into places with, you know, with staples on her head. They said she might come back as a vegetable. And I had to sign that, you know, disclosure. I had to sign that agreement saying, if she's a vegetable, do you agree? Absolutely. If she passes away, do you agree? Absolutely. You know, all these things. I was willing. And I'm sitting there while the operation's taking place
just
for hours.
praying like,
praying in the next room. You know, I remember talking to my auntie and like trying to keep it together. I'm like, you know, please God, please God, please God. The moment my mum came to, I'm like, Mum. She's like, yeah. And the doctors were in the room. I'm like, oh, I got to call the nurse. I said, Mum, do you know who I am? She goes to me, because of course I know who you are. Your character was still there.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
She goes, give me the water. She goes, and then she goes, I got a headache. And I said, I'm like, okay, she's come too. The next day, the doctors, she had her entire room, that her recovery room was full of flowers. People were bringing in flowers and soup and all these things, and we're getting a lot of support. And so doctor says, smell this.
Can you smell it? Like,
and she couldn't smell it.
Oh, she lost the...
Yeah, she's lost her sense of smell. She had lost a bit of her vision as well, which came back later on.
Since today?
Yeah, and it gradually came back. The sense of smell never came back, but the vision came back a bit better.
So sense of smell never came back at all?
Never came back. But listen, if that's a sacrifice we needed to make...
Oh, better stay alive, man.
Absolutely. So from that point, I said to myself, okay, but now that's when my journey really got tough from that point.
But bro, I could never tell that because I met your mom.
Yeah.
And she's just like normal, bro.
Yeah.
She's looking good. She's strong. Like it's funny, you know. Like could never tell, bro, that happened to her at all.
Absolutely. She's been my backbone. She's the reason I strive to be the best man as I can possibly be. You know, and so looking at that, you know, after her recovery, that's when things really changed, because I went back to Harvey Norman. We had shifted a franchisee. There was a complete different franchisee. And he said to me, he sat me down one day and he goes, Gurkz, I don't want to tell you this. I don't want to do this to you, but you got no hours left. You got no holiday pay. You got no hours left. You know, I said, what are you saying? He says, well, you either have to come back to work and build your hours back up, or you're gonna have to resign, because we would never want to sack. We'd never want to sack you and have that on your record. You know, yeah, a part of that. You know, you have to make that decision.
You took what, 2 months off work, or?
I was taking a very long time off. I don't know exactly how long, but I was back and forth to Melbourne, to specialists, to doctors, preparing for the operation, and then after the operation, you know, being there for her as long as, as well as with my auntie, and trying to do the best I can, as a man. And so we went through that process, and I remember being so stressed out. And I had another friend at the time. He had moved down from America, and his dad was doing very good, man. His dad had like these like clinics, pop-up clinics you just walk into, and he had doctors working in the clinics. And he says, look, come over, let's talk about this. He says, it's about time you need to do something for yourself. I said, okay, no worries. So I'm about to give my resignation to Harvey Norman, right? And I go to his house, and he's got this big fat doobie rolled up for me.
Yeah.
He says, you need to relax. First of all, let's smoke this, and let's brainstorm about what you're good at. And I said, all right, let's do it. Spark up this joint, puffing.
Got blazed up.
Right, blazed. He says, what are you good at? I said, well, I understand supplements. I know supplements. He goes to me, well, you're into fitness. I said, yeah, I am. He goes, what else do you like?
kept your training during the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole time, my gym has never stopped. And I'm still training.
Even your mom being sick, you kept going to the gym, training?
Absolutely, because it's kept my mind right.
Yeah.
It's kept me sane. It's kept me strong. And now looking back, it's kept me literally mind, body, and spirit together.
Yeah, I've done the same thing when my dad was sick.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. Like, mate, I can't just lay here and, like cry my ass, off. And I need to keep, doing my thing. And
Your father's well, though?
Nah, he's gone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But, the day he passed, I went to the gym.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, if I just sit at home and keep thinking about it,
Absolutely. Because the thing is, we can't ever get rid of energy. We can only cycle it. So all that negative energy, the best thing we can do is make use of it. Go to the gym, cycle that into a positive thought, positive energy. Really feel that burn, really feel that, what we put our bodies through in order to come back stronger. As the saying goes, the pain you feel today will be the strength you see tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? So we made the decision. He says, why don't you open up a supplement shop? And that's how my first business came about.
And
said,
you had some money, you had some spare money.
Yeah. And if people are wondering, because people always say to me, it's called all supplements, but you don't stock so many different types. Because as you know, only stock and sell the highest quality based on usability and taste. And I out of this session that we had with my friend, I said, I'm just going to call it all supplements and just get all the products I know that sells, And that's how my supplement store came about. I handed my resignation, sold my R34, made that sacrifice, and took the money from that because, again, at this point, I had really drained my funds, in order to take care of my family, and obviously I had just purchased a house. So I sold my car, started the supplement business.
That was what,
2011.
2011.
Yeah, and then started the supplement business in 2011 on 10th Street, Mildura. And then people were kind of like, does he know what he's doing? A lot of people were saying to me, you shouldn't get into business. You don't know what to do. You don't know how taxes work. You don't know how this works. You don't know how that works. Listen, if I don't know
find out as I go, mate.
I'm going to take the opportunity and I'll learn later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what I did. But a lot of people I found didn't trust me at the time. So I said, okay, what do I do to gain people's trust? I'm like, I'm going to go and enter a competition. So I got in contact with, remember the first person I said I was looking up to at the gym, and where he went on to being Mr. Australia and New York Pro. So he was running his own bodybuilding shows for the WNBF as a pro. And I said to him, listen, I want to compete. He says, absolutely. We've got the men's physique category coming up. You should consider it. I said, okay, no worries. I'm down. So I done my nutrition plan with an IFBB pro at the time. And he was awesome too, this guy. So he does my nutrition plan. I done the nutrition, stuck to the training, entered the competition. I think it was in 2012 in Adelaide, and placed third for my first time competing. And there was like 8, maybe 10 entries at the time. And third place, I was like, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Natural, all good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Right, young. So I came back. We ended up in the newspaper. Me and a friend entered at the time, and then a lot of people started asking me questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do that? And then I started sponsoring athletes. So I was sponsoring athletes at a very young age, man. Like, at this point, I'm now 24 years old. So I've got my first house at 22. At the age of 24, I've got my own business. And mind you, I just want to make note of this. in my entire generational bloodline, I don't know anyone that's bought a house at the age of 22 and had a business at 24 and that's highly successful, where, you know, I was employing people, helping people out, paying, you know, opening up opportunities for other individuals. So I'm honored to say that I was able to make that change. Otherwise, we could have been in that generational curse of go to the block, work on the block, make the money, get old, get married, have kids, and see you later.
Yeah.
Life's
More than that.
Life's more than that. People go, oh, you know, live your life. You know, you only live once. No. You live every single day. You die once. So you need to live every single day like you want to live, and you need to do things that you're passionate about. Otherwise, what's the point of this life? You need to find your purpose, and which I'm now, you know, honored and grateful to say that I empower people. I empower people to find their purpose, and encourage them to believe in themselves, show their true, you know, show them possibilities. I show them how unique they are as a human being, right? And I have students that are doing 7 figures, and we'll get to that in a second as well. But so all supplements started in basically an idea of a garage under a hard circumstance, and it went very well. And then I've done the move from Mildura in 2015 due to a bad breakup, which also pushed me to get out of that town. And I was like, okay, it's another opportunity for me to grow. So I took the good with the bad, and I said, I'm going to Melbourne. Let's experience Melbourne. At that time, my mother and sister had moved away to Queensland.
So your shop at the time was a physical store.
It was a physical store. Yeah,
And then you sold that one and you opened another one in Melbourne.
So the store I was renting, but I packed up that store and I went to Melbourne and opened up on Sydney Road, Brunswick, which is the mouth of the city, on the entry to the point of the city, just before Princess Park.
Right next to your Doties.
Exactly. And that's where I met, that's pretty much where I started to make the connections with some of the biggest names, best names.
Yeah.
Brother, I used to go to that gym, and Ronnie Common will be in that gym.
Yeah. I went to the gym during the finals, and Flex Roden was there.
Yeah.
Like everyone training.
Branch Warren,
yeah.
Jay Cutler. I'd be like, what? These are people I used to look at the magazines. My dad used to get angry at me for, you know?
Yeah.
And so now my vision and all that became a reality. I was like, you know what? There's nothing I can't do as long as I want to do it, right? I mean, you're a testament to that. You've just made this a reality.
Yeah, man.
Right? So now it's just like, okay, what can I do? But even in Melbourne, I when I got there, it was without any adversity. Man, I was in debt again. I had no one that I could really bring up with me. Another good friend of mine, Jono Van Dorp, awesome guy. He left his family and his relationship to come and help me. And I wasn't even paying him. We were eating like tins of tuna to set the fucking business up the right way and to scale. And he said, until you find your feet, bro, I got your back.
What a legend, bro.
What a fucking legend.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm mentioning his name and giving him a shout out, because if it wasn't for people like this, man, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have had organic innovation, you know, going into establishing my company in 2017 with the ideas I had when, again, I was told it's impossible. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. You know, you're going to spend all your money. No. And I'll get to that in a second as well. But so
yeah, that's one of the main reasons I created these, because to connect like good people with good people, you know?
Absolutely. So right now at this point, get this, and I don't know how anyone can hate on this, right? I went from being a 15-year-old kid supporting his mother to then going on to being the best salesman at Harvey Norman, then going on to starting his own business and finding success for a straight 5 years and become an icon of Mildura and bringing fit and blowing up the supplement industry in Mildura. Before that, supplement shops were closing down, right? And then on top of all of that, right, I've been featured in newspaper articles after newspaper articles. I was on TV, radio, advertising. So I've reached the pinnacle of Mildura. I outgrew myself. I couldn't have made any more than 65, 70,000 a month in sales in supplements anyway, because I had already reached that point. There was no much more growth I could do. What am I going to do? Turn the whole country, the whole town into bodybuilders? Yeah. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I ended up, all the things I sacrificed, I ended up buying that back. Like I bought myself a 33 GTR. I had my house. I had numerous cars. You know, I was spending and taking holidays whenever I wanted to. And then after the bad breakup happened, I was like, okay, I need to take off. You know, I need to grow. I need something fresh.
Something new, something fresh.
I just felt like I had to. So I moved to Melbourne again in debt. had no electricity, no internet connection. The store was old. I had to renovate the whole store. Our month free period was completely gone. Now we're paying rent on a store that's not even open. So me and Jono were doing like door to door, handing out cards, and it's crazy, man. And pamphlets, going to Doldy's and going, listen, we want to be at the Arnold Classic. Back then it was FitX. And it was just transitioning into Arnold Classic. Arnold had just come down and had a meeting with Tony Doldy, and they made this agreement. And I remember going and having a meeting with Tony. He's an awesome guy as well. I said, Tony, I said, listen, I'm not here to step on any toes. I'm not here to compete on a high level. I'm not here to open up franchises. I just want to be known. And he says to me, okay, listen, we got a spot here for you at the Arnold Classic. It's a good spot. Take the opportunity. I said, okay, absolutely, let's do it. So I went there. And again, props to people like CT Fletcher, because with the mindset of, it's still your motherfucking set, regardless of the hard days, the cold days, the days you don't want to do it, it's still your set.
Yeah.
We had this barbell competition, which was inspired through CT Fletcher.
And I talked to him as well because I worked at the Arnolds for 4 years in a row
so
as a volunteer. He's a legend, man.
So a year before having my own booth, and I was in contact with CT Fletcher, giving him my background, my story, and how hard I was doing it. We seen each other, and he embraced me. He gives me a hug. I got this on footage, and I'm like, man, you've been an inspiration of mine.
Yeah.
Because, listen, when I was in Mildura, just going back a little bit, I did go into a time period of my life where I was running a business, but I got involved with a motorcycle club. I was the president of the elite in Mildura for a while. Now, I don't usually speak about this on camera, but brother, I managed 20 plus members, which then went on to becoming members for the largest, motorcycle club in Australia, right? I still know people in the club, awesome people, family, oriented people with businesses, and some of them haven't even never gone to prison or have even been convicted. And so I went from that to idolizing people like CT Fletcher and idolizing people because brother, when you don't have a father figure, it is tough finding the right path, regardless of what anyone says, especially being a young male with testosterone, and you're now experiencing respect and power and money, right? They don't mix well sometimes.
Yeah. Ego can play.
Ego's a big thing.
Yeah.
Right? And so the crazy thing is, I was like, what am I doing in this life? And what got me out of that was my mother getting cancer for the second time, breast cancer. And I'm like, it really shook me up. I'm like, what am I doing? I made a promise to God to stay on the right track. And here I am. I'm a gangster. Like, I'm a businessman, gangster, and hanging around the most... Like, looking back, man, these people are published in newspapers for shootouts. And some absolutely crazy times. So I went from that to like, okay, I need to put my fucking head in, because I had a hit out on me at one particular point in time where, people around me were getting, chased down, stabbed, shot at. It's crazy, right? Yeah. So I was like, okay.
You don't want to be around that shit.
Yeah. And now my mother's got cancer. I'm like, okay, what the fuck am I doing, right? I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of this. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And listen, because of what happened through that circumstance, unfortunately, it affected my family because, unfortunately, some of my most closest cousins and I, we didn't speak for like 10 plus years because of it. And my sister kind of started to fear me rather than love me as her older brother, and, it really affected us.
Yeah.
It really did. And I've just made amends with all of that. I've forgiven everything that's ever happened to me in a negative sense with people. Anything that I may have done, I've left in the past, I forgive, and I've moved on, right? And I'm just out to be the best human being as I can possibly be and just stand in my truth. I've seen the bad and I've seen the good. And love is so much more powerful than fear, right? And so that's how that happened. And when I went to Melbourne eventually in 2017 before 2017, in 2015, started off in Melbourne, was at the Arnold Classic in 2016, and then that was very successful. So CT Fletcher came over to the booth, and that was pretty awesome. And we took some photos of some of the pros, and a lot of them actually showed me a lot of support, man. Like, I have shout outs from Jay Cutler, as you said.
Yeah, I saw that.
They didn't have to do that. I mean, I'm just some young kid trying to make a living, right? But they did. They helped me out. And that really did have a big impact because a lot of people were coming into me in Sydney Road, Brunswick, showing me support. You know, people in Mildura kept continuing to show me support, you know, and it really helped me to provide for my family. And so I would never forget that, and the people that have supported me. But then in 2017, I said, I need to do something bigger than this, because now I was getting to the point where I was researching as a nutritionist going, okay, well, if I know that there's artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives in certain products, and that's harming us. But on one hand, it's recovering our body. But on the other hand, there's GMOs, there's antibiotics that's being passed on through the
destroy your microbiome, your guts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why we had all these gut issues. Inflammation of the intestines come from the GMOs, and directly is responsible from that because of the omega-6s, right? Omega-3s are good for you, you know, and hence why I developed this protein. I said, I want to develop a protein that I can use that's going to have a full benefit. And another reason why it came about is because at the time, my mother had some issues of, you know, getting her strength back after. So after a particular time, she was able to exercise and train and gradually get back into it. I said, I need to find something that's going to be able to increase the protein but not harm her body. And at the same time, I wanted to use a product that's going to be the best. So I said, what can I do that the market doesn't have? And at the time, no one had the organically sourced grass-fed whey protein isolate. So that was like the pinnacle of pinnacles you could reach at the time. When I told people about this idea in 2017, people said, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
There's ways the big companies doing like
100%.
Whatever.
How are you going to compete against Optimum Nutrition? How are you going to compete against this? How are you going to compete against that? I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to make this happen. And what I realize now is my demographic wasn't for the bodybuilders. My demographic is for the holistic people that are health conscious, that want to have a product that is going to be fully beneficial, that's not going to affect them in a negative way. So if you drink, you're not going to get gases. You're not going to get stomach inflammation. You're not going to feel crap. You're not going to, feel a certain way. And so then I made that a reality. And even that was a lot of,
research, find a
I had
the right supplier.
Correct. I had to formulate the product and make sure that it was going to be able to be, it was going to work without affecting anyone in a negative sense. And we needed to find a place we could organically source it and make sure it's going to be the utmost, the highest quality of protein. So hence why we targeted New Zealand. And
so it's got all grass fed.
When I first begun this, I spent $500,000 on product research and development with the property I sold in Mildura. And my mum's like, are you fucking crazy? You paid this house off. You just sold a house, and instead of buying a house, you're doing this?
Yeah.
So hence why I said, okay, you know what? To keep her happy, I have to buy a property in Melbourne. So I bought the property in 2017, and bang, started the company. And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this a reality. We subcontracted a farm in New Zealand. We employ our own farmers. They're a family, which is great. No fly zone, so meaning no chemtrails, so no heavy metals and stuff like that onto the soil. So we tested the soil as well. The cows are free roaming. We don't treat them with antibiotics. We don't treat them with any types of injectables. So it's because nutritional panels never tell you that, it's got hormones in it. No one's going to ever tell you that. No one would buy anything.
Yeah.
Right? And so I looked at the industry for what it was behind the curtains and said, oh my God, all this time, all the supplements I've been using has been affecting me in a negative sense. Brother, I've had tumors. And I'm like, if I'm healthy and training every day and eating clean, I thought it was healthy back then. How am I getting tumors? How am I feeling the way I'm feeling? How am I getting these problems? What's going on? And then I discovered it's because of the things I'm putting through my system that I wasn't aware. Awareness is key for everything. And I believe that a lot of people are now just starting to become aware, but there's also depths and levels to being aware.
So you also had a tumor recently.
Well,
you went through some shit
in 2000. Recently I did. I had a tumor pop up, and that was again because of just some poor choices that I was making, and so I'm all good now, and that's enough. I've overcome that.
Why can't you tell people like what not to do?
Well, don't use things you don't know about. Do the research. Right? So like, for example, I've been in the supplement industry for over 13 years now, 13 and a half years plus counting. And there's certain, like it says artificial colors and flavors, and people go, it's only artificial colors and flavors. It's not going to harm me. It's like, yeah, but what is it? What, is that going to give you cancer in the next 10 years? Is it going to reduce your testosterone?
People have no clue about that shit.
People are walking around at the age of 30 saying, oh, I'm going to jump on TRT because I got low testosterone. Do you actually know why you're having low testosterone? It's because of the shit you're watching. It's the shit you're consuming. It's the stuff. You can go to the gym all you want. If you're not watching what's going into your system through your choices, of course you're going to reduce your testosterone, right? So
Plastic, you know.
Absolutely. Listen, this is why when I made Organic Innovation in 2017 and established it, after we found the right farms and sourced the right farms and made sure our cattle is healthy and free roaming and it's grass fed, organically sourced protein that's also got high amounts of amino acids for anti-aging benefits of long-term use. We don't add any sugar. It's just made with stevia from the plant itself. We use natural flavoring. Everything is natural. Everything's been tested, third-party tested, nutritionist tested, science tested. There's on the website, there's a sports nutritionist and talking about it. She's actually a food scientist.
And I try the caramel flavor. It's fucking good too.
Mixes in
Tastes
perfect,
nice,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And we also have a thing where if it doesn't sit right, if people aren't happy, we do 100% money back satisfaction guarantee. We'll take it.
That's how much you believe in your
I believe
product.
in it, 100%. I back it up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have invested so much of my money, right? And from that point, and we also found success in that. We're in multiple different countries around the world. We're in talks with other countries right now, and I am selling it directly through all supplements as well as directly from Organic Innovation. Our two new products, we have the ceremonial grade Lion's Mane Cordyceps blend. Ceremonial grade meaning it's 35% beta glucans, which means you take it and your brain activity, it's more profound rather than just taking it over a period of time and then it takes time to work. It goes to work almost straight away.
Yeah, medicinal mushrooms is getting pretty big now, man.
Well, that's why we jumped on it.
Yeah,
we jumped on it. It's good for your immune system. It's good for endurance, brain activity, cognitive function. Listen, this all ties back to for my mother's health because the doctor said, because of her brain tumor operation, she could develop Alzheimer's and dementia. And right now she's becoming forgetful. And so hence why I spent the last 18 months and hundreds of thousands of dollars finding and sourcing the best mushrooms from enchanted areas of China, right? Employed my own people, subcontracted a forest in China and cultivating it that's growing organically in the friggin' forest. That's how to the point I take it to.
He's the purest of the purest.
Listen, I could easily just go and find a white labeler and say, I'm just going to put my brand on it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
I want to stand in the spotlight and be different. And that's why I've done what I've done. I've got the world's first organically sourced melatonin product. People go, how do you make melatonin organic? It's a brain hormone. Absolutely. But guess what? This planet has every single thing that we seek. It's just a matter of finding it. And I put my research and development team into sourcing it. We found it. And now we have the world's first organic ashwagandha, lemon balm, and melatonin product. You have one gummy, you're out.
So it's like a blend of melatonin and other substances that helps,
so
helps you relax
you.
you, deep sleep. And
yeah, exactly. So my company, all supplements, is an innovative company. All supplements is has become more of a hobby for me now. And I'm also now more focused on my coaching. So I help people with their business startup and scaling their business. And again, when I left Melbourne during the pandemic, I gotta be careful what I say here because I don't want to be cancelled.
Yeah.
But again, I don't like being told what to do, and I also believe the baseline of democracy is to have your freedom of speech and to have an opinion, and
choose if you want something in your body or not.
Correct. And so when I realized people were being forced to wear a mask and they were getting beat on. Elder ladies, I'm sure there's video footage out there. Elder ladies being pushed to the ground.
Oh, bro, Melbourne was just next level.
Well, Joe Rogan spoke about it. We're the most locked down city in the world. And here's my store in Brunswick where the first breakout happened. Mind you, I got sick.
Yeah.
But I never went and got tested. I'm like in my room, shivering it off. I'm like, I ain't going to no hospital. They're going to kill me in there. Call me a conspiracy theorist. But at the end of the day, I was like, I can overcome this. And I did. And this was really starting to freak my family out. And I said to my mother and my sister, I said, listen, if you just want to move away to Queensland, back to your house, I said, I'm ready to give everything up and move. They looked at me and said, really? I said, absolutely. So get this.
So your mum was in Queensland at that time or not?
No, she was living with me at the time. I moved them all with me. I had my own nice big house.
So you had any properties up in Queensland at that time?
My mother had her property. Yeah. I'll get to that in a sec. So what happened was so my company from 2017 to 2019, we started doing really well. Like I had an offer from this guy that, because I was on a radio show for a Chinese exhibition. So this guy comes down and he's like, I want you to sell your company to me and walk away from it. I said, no. I said, that's not what I'll do. And he says, and it was really persistent. I kid you not. I got witnesses. My mother's a witness. My friends are witnesses. He writes me a check, 15 million USD.
Holy
and goes
shit.
to me, take this.
And shut up and move away.
And he's like, let me buy your company. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, otherwise, what's my purpose? This is what I just discovered. This is what I'm doing. This is what I want to. And then I later on find out this guy, he came down on a private jet to meet my manufacturers, so like where we blended at the time in Melbourne. Like, so what we do is our protein sourced in New Zealand. It gets formulated by the largest dairy manufacturer and then sent us in big bags so we can package it up here in where we are. So I can see what's going on because we have to put it through a halal process and stuff like that. And this guy comes down, meets my team, and then we do some research on this guy. This guy's selling wine and he's in the pharmaceutical industry. And I'm like, why the fuck does he want to buy my products for? Like my company for? And then I find out people like this guy buys companies out and then lets them die.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't want competition.
No competition. I'm like, that's crazy. But then out of that, I got an Indian client that had come down and said, listen, we want to get your products into Mumbai and I want to be a partnership. So now we had a contract of $100,000 every 3 months just selling protein there in container lots to the Islamic community in clinics and sports and gyms. And it was getting pumped out. Then the pandemic happens. Contracts come to an end.
Can't export anything.
Can't do anything. Everything's locked down. Brother, we're in like stage 3, 4 lockdown.
Yeah, next
So
level shit, man.
5 kilometer rule, you can't get out of the house.
Oh
You're going to
my
be home
God.
at 8 o'clock. You know, crazy.
Crazy shit.
So get this, right? So I had enough. I'm like, I don't even know when I'm going to be able to go to the gym. We can't even train at this point. People are buying gym equipment, training from their frigging bedroom because the government's telling you can't go train, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I said, hold on a minute, this doesn't make sense to me because first of all, brothels are open, alcohol stores are open. I said, why can't we go to the gym where everything is regulated, everything's wiped down?
Yeah. It's the most like clean
Absolutely.
place.
So I'm like, nah, this is not right. So get this, right? So I had to make the choice. And I had a store, I had a warehouse, right? I've got employees. I've got people depending on me. So I said, listen, and people are doing it tough, man. Like I had people, I'm like, what if I say a certain thing and this person does something to themselves? Because at this point, everyone's locked down, depressed, upset. There's domestic violence has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So I said, no, I need to do the best I can, but at the same time, be fair by everybody. So paid my dues, paid my debts, lost nearly everything, sold supplements at cutthroat prices, less than what I purchased them for. Sold them from my garage, shut down my store, put my car on a trailer, 3 truckloads of stuff came to Queensland, right? The move cost me over 15K. Then we had to go through quarantine.
Dumped your boxes into your mom's property up here.
Yeah. Then we had to go through quarantine for a whole month. And I'm thinking to myself, and they want us to pay for our own captivity?
Fucking hell.
Right? and that's how crazy it was. Like we had military escort because I refused to get any tests. I said, I don't know what the fuck's at the end of that stick. I don't want to put that through my nose and into my brain.
Yeah.
Right? I just didn't trust what was going on. I follow my intuition. And why are you forcing this on me? Like, if this is about health, why are you bashing people? Just because I didn't wear a mask. It doesn't sound right, right? Yeah. And look, who was right, huh? In 2024, what's going on?
Yeah. Now they're backing up like, oh, by the way.
Listen, I had a fairly decent Instagram following. I was, providing inspiration on a weekly basis. I was providing nutrition information for free. I was helping people in terms of, just insights to business, all different types of things. I was using my platform for good stuff. But when I started speaking about the truth, when this was at the very beginning, and I said, they're going to force lockdowns. They're not going to allow you to go anywhere. They're not going to allow you to do it, even go to the supermarket if you don't get, the shots. And everyone's like, you're crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're this, you're
you
that.
got cancelled straight away.
I got cancelled. My page got banned. All supplements got banned. I was like, what am I doing? Who am I doing this for if no one's listening to me? I was getting death threats for God's sake for speaking my truth. And not only that, get this right. After moving to Queensland and losing everything, I said, I'm not going to go back and open up a store. I want to have financial freedom. So I said, my main focus now that I've gone through the third adversity and third time moving to a different state, starting from scratch, I know how to do it. So how I became a coach was, I'm actually a coach for the largest coaching community in Australia called Founder, Nathan Chan. Awesome guy. I have an awesome team. I love the people I work with. And I did their courses. And I was like, I'm gonna focus on doing these right and set my own business online, because my strength wasn't online. My strength was in the real world with the stores, you know, all that. I've been doing it since I was young. So what happened was I'd done the courses and I completed a lot of the courses, and they said, what was your experience like? They reached out to me. I said, well, good. I took a $40,000 debt into $360,000 worth of profit in the 1 year. I put 13 hours of effort, 16 hours of effort every fucking day. I didn't party. I didn't drink. I didn't buy nothing. I was living back at my mother's house, right? And here I am starting from scratch, going completely online. And people are telling me they didn't have a choice. I sacrificed everything to start from scratch. I lost my relationships. I got my best friend, Ocean, my dog, my American Staffordshire Terrier, which is my absolute best friend and my boy. He passed away from cancer that same year. I was in a debt, man, and I was depressed. And I don't like using that word because I feel like it's a choice to be depressed or not. But I said, you know what?
People can relate to it, yeah.
Yep. I said, I'm blessed because I'm able to go to the gym now rather than being in a lockdown. I'm healthy. I got my mother and my sister out of a toxic environment. I'm setting myself up. I got 2 hands and 2 feet. I'm still alive. I'm living and breathing. I got no complaints.
That's it.
Right? I don't play fucking victim mentality. And I never fucking have. And I never will. And the people that sit there and act like, oh, the world's so bad for me. You know, this is why I am the way I am. No one's going to no one's going to do anything for you. No one's going to come and give you $1 million or help you get healthy or take your ass to the gym and get in shape. I did that myself. I continued to go to the gym. I continued to work on my business until I got myself back in front. No one knows my story. Of course, people were doubting me and, well, look at this guy, look at the way he's dressed. Listen, when I go to the gym, I wear my oldest clothes. I wear the most faded clothes because I'm not there as a fashion show, motherfucker. It's not a fashion show, man. I'm there to lift some heavy weights and fucking train properly, guerrilla style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As CT Fletcher would say it's still your motherfucking set, right? And that's the mindset I brought. And guess what happened? I became a coach for Founder because I showed them what I was able to do for myself. I've been a coach for Founder for nearly 2 years, as well as being a private coach. I've got students right now doing 7 figures, right now, that have got screenshots to me. And I've shared some of this on my Facebook, only glimpses of it. And what I say to you, Felipe, didn't I say to you, only when I become the person I wish to be, I will come back into the spotlight. Mm-hmm. This is why I'm here.
Yeah, you got experience, you know.
I have done everything I said I was going to do. Listen, I want to send a message out there to some particular people that kicked me when I was down, when I left Melbourne. Now, this isn't for revenge, but I just want to highlight something here. Other grown men should never kick another grown man while they're down. Now, someone called me and they abused me and said that I was a loser there and loser here. My message to this person is this. Losers don't set up a business and scale in the first year back to where they were. Losers, they don't retire their parents. Losers don't open up opportunities for other individuals to become millionaires. Losers don't sit on this fucking chair where I'm sitting right now and speak from the truth as a multi-millionaire. But yet these people are training in the same gym with the same client and they've got something to say about me. How can a man hate on another man that's done nothing but honor their fucking surname and that's supported their family and literally has over and over and over again with resilience and persistence and consistency and discipline gone to the gym and done what he needed to do through all the fucking hardest circumstances to become the person I am today and still have love in my heart and still help people and still give more than I should. I overshare a lot of things when it comes to success.
That's the thing, right? There's no losing. There's just learning if you got the mentality, you know?
Absolutely. And I just don't understand how people can hate on someone that supported a family.
Oh, bro, you know how it is, man. Right? It's just jealous, you know? Like, they can't beat you up, you know? Like, they look at you from the top, you know? Like, oh, they're not going to reach you because you're here, they're there, you know?
Absolutely. But you know what the thing I literally wish and hope people finally crack their their mind open to, and put their egos to the side and go, you know what? Doesn't matter about their age, doesn't matter about how young they are or how old they are. They're successful. They are where I want to be in my life. And say, how'd you do it? Can I be your friend? Can I learn from you?
You gotta be very humble to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that takes a level of courage, because as a man, pride gets involved. You don't want to ask another man for help. And listen, I had coaches. Vikas Malkani and John Rankins were some of the best coaches I've ever had. Listen, if you want to be successful, tell me one sport. And people go, oh, the coaches are bullshit. Listen, tell me one sport where any championship hasn't had a coach.
None.
They all run off the fucking field and pick their coach up first, right?
Yeah.
That's for a reason. Because we strategize, we take the steps required for success, and we've done it before. So my thing is this. I see a lot of coaches in Gold Coast, and I've shut the fuck up in the last 4 years of me being here. And everyone's saying they're a coach, lifestyle coach. I'm a business coach. I'm a bodybuilding coach. And I've watched every single one of these coaches make money off people's back. And you know what? I go to myself, okay, what have you accomplished, motherfucker?
Yeah.
What have you done? Are you a millionaire? Are you a world champion? Listen, I don't train people in the gym anymore because I don't compete. I don't want to compete. I don't want to be buff. I've been solid all my life. If you look at pictures of the younger version of me, I've always been 80, 85 kilos lean. I've always been in shape since I started, since I was 15 to now, right? You've trained with me recently. Yeah. You know how I train?
Oh, go hard, man.
And I'm not boasting either. It's just I train with intensity because I like to challenge myself. But the thing is this, right? People, they don't challenge themselves. They're comfortable. But they also make money off other people's backs in the same way. They portray to be certain individuals, but they're really not.
Yeah.
And success only comes when you're real for yourself. And like the great Marcus Aurelius has once said, the only way forward is through the obstacle that's presented before you. There is no other way. You can't bullshit having a good physique. You can't not work and be successful and be rich.
No one can take that from you, like, especially if it's building up like something for you. Yeah. Business, whatever, money, people can steal from you, whatever, but the hard work, like if you put a physique on, like no one can take that for you.
I want to make something abundantly clear. In this world, everything could be taken away from us. There's only one thing that can't be taken away from us. And that's why we're literally at a spiritual war right now. And that's our fucking soul. And what upsets me the most is seeing knowledge, right? What upsets me the most is this, people are so quick to give up that one last thing that no one can take from you just for money. What is money? It's not even backed by anything. It's plastic. That's why it's so easy to manifest, no different than all these manifestations. Hence why I can manifest it like this, keep manifesting. I'm manifesting it right now as I'm sitting here. Why? Because it's not real. And the thing is, people have the wrong ideology about money. They say it wrong. How do I make money? You don't make money. You don't print money. You're not the Federal Reserve, my friend.
You earn money.
Right? No, you attract money. Because you know why you attract money? Because there's already money in the world. It's already in circulation. You know how we're always hearing about the trillions of dollars of debt in the world?
Yeah.
Well, let's do this calculation. If there's trillions of dollars in the world, and if there's only 8 billion people on the planet, that indicates to me at the very highest levels, we can all be a trillionaire. At the very mediocre level, we could all be billionaires. At the very lowest level, we can all be millionaires. So what the fuck's anyone's excuse not to go out there and put in the work? Find your passion, find the solution, find what people are looking for and take the leap of faith, And that's what I'm always going to preach to the day I die. Listen, if I died 1,000,000 times, I'm going to keep coming back to this world 1,000,000 times and standing in my truth. You know why? Because I'm a fucking spiritual warrior. I know exactly who I am and what I am and what I stand for. And some people don't like that. Some people don't want to stand by me. Some people don't want to appreciate that. That's fine. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be real.
Yeah. That's what I want to hear, from people, just and connect with people like that has his mindset of, like hustling and going towards the dreams and shit,
Absolutely.
And say, for instance, someone like right now is confused about like just having a shit job they hate, like I want to do something for myself, or even just listening this right now and out of nowhere, and just what they can do to like spark the thing in their minds to finally, do something for themselves and get out of their lazy asses, and
just get to work.
and just do something,
Absolutely. Brother, you know this. Being fat is hard. Being fit is hard.
Yeah.
Being broke is hard. Being successful is hard.
Yeah.
Being single is hard. Being in a relationship is hard. We have to choose our hard every single day. And you know what? I'll tell you something. Respect to all the women out there, by the way, but I'll tell you something very important here. Men also have it tough. Men actually have it very tough because we have to do things we don't want to do every fucking day, right? To be able to get places in life and to be able to provide, to be able to stand in our truth, to be able to protect, to be able to do all these things that society and the conditioning is so eager to take away from each real, genuine, honest man, right? And that's what I really hope that people can see that, like this whole thing that's going on with the whole feminism stuff and the woke movement, man, it blows my mind, man. Like you can't have a man compete with females. Like it's not equal here, right?
It's just biologically,
Absolutely. So, but that's another topic for another time. But that's the thing. It's like, it's insane what I'm seeing in the world now and how much it's changed, And respect to people that are, that are trans and stuff like that. It's their decision. I'm not transphobic. To be transphobic, you have to fear them. I don't fear no man apart from God himself. So the thing is, each to their own. Let them do the decisions, but don't push it upon the kids. Don't push things that are maybe back to front in certain people, in certain religious aspects onto certain people. Because at the end of the day, man, like. We all have boundaries. We all want to be able to raise kids properly. I don't even have kids and I think about these things, right? Because I want a good future. I want to have a future where we can all be able to, unite as human beings, live in peace, no more wars, no more bullshit, this race, this color, this gender, because all that's causing separation. It's doing nothing else but just separating individuals, and it's distracting us from our own true potential as a spiritual being. And the thing is, people ask me, they say to me, are you religious? The thing is this, right? I'm beyond that. I truly believe that I am a soul having a human experience. And that's just based on my own experiences of the things I've been through and the things I've overcome. And everything I've envisioned in here, I've manifested my own reality. And every time, like looking back now, ever since I've given up alcohol, and I used to smoke a lot of weed, you know this too. Only up until the last 6 months ago, I just quit 6 months ago. And during all this, I'm like, okay, it's only gave me more clarity. It's only made me more sharper, and it's enabled me to manifest even more and at a quicker, in a more faster process. I've become a better coach. I've become a better son. I've become a better man. I've become a better friend, and it's done nothing but, being connected to the source has made me nothing more than a better human being all up.
Mm-hmm. And what's your next moves forward with your brand and with your coaching and everyone that is watching right now? We're gonna do a special thing for you guys.
So as you know me, brother, I never give away my next moves to anybody. I like to work in silence and let my success do the echoing.
But you'll be focusing 100% on your brand.
So I've got another product coming out, which is breakthrough product. It's going to be an amazing product. That's going to be in the line and in the works to hopefully be released in the next 3 months. Fingers crossed. A lot of my profits are going back into research and development to be able to make more profits. I'm focused on my health. I'm focused on, empowering other people and their wealth and, helping people up. That's my main focus.
Yeah, what have you been doing, or what's your plans moving forward to help the community and people around you? Or
so I'm giving back a lot more, not just with knowledge, but I'm going and doing a bit more of a work in terms of philanthropy. So giving back into the hope, the people that are in bad situations at the moment. As we know, there's a lot of tragedies going on in the world, and there's a lot of unfairness. So I endeavor to make more income in order to be able to give a percentage of my income away. And in saying that, I want to also bring to your attention that I want to do a giveaway for you, my friend.
Let's get it.
So what I want to do is
people will be benefit from this.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to give away the organically sourced, grass-fed, New Zealand's best 100% whey protein isolate, and we also have the ceremonial grade lion's mane cordyceps blend, and we have the Sweet Dreams formula. So I wanna, I wanna be able to.
Let's do a giveaway for then 3 people, so they can experience different products.
Absolutely. Well, look, I was thinking more of in a package, but if you want to do that, if you want to give it away to 3 different individuals so they can have a different experience, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm just dedicating these products to you and for your audience, and to help you take flight, my friend.
And talking about helping people, helping the community around you, I don't know what I've got this vision where we need to help kids, man.
Definitely, yeah.
Because adults, they have free will. They can do whatever they want. If I want to stand up here right now and go in the corner and do whatever, I can. But kids, bro, if you give like a child like a piece of whatever, they're going to put in their mouth and eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the kids growing up, they're going to change the world or just make something for the world,
Absolutely.
And
I believe
in that. Like really focus on kids to do the right choices in life and teach them like actual like useful things, like say for instance nutrition, training, business. People say that it's not good. You don't have to go to school. Yeah, school teaches you like random, like a general thing.
I believe school is an indoctrination. I don't believe it's really education.
Because I went to school and I believe school being a good network place.
Yeah.
Because I've got friends from school since today.
Yep.
I wouldn't have these friends if it wasn't because of school.
Absolutely.
And in school you learn like a lot of random shit. Yeah, but at the same time, because it's all about connection. Like it's all about you connecting to the right people. You met like some shit people, but you learn from them as well.
Yes.
Even though they are absolutely shit. You learn like you say like fuck man, this person done this to me. Like this is something that I'll never do. So.
Absolutely.
You learn
that's what I don't want to be.
Yeah, you learn what not to do from shit people,
Yeah.
And kids, bro, like they don't know much, Like
when I was in Mildura, so I did this program where the kids that were getting kicked out of school and suspended, that the schools wouldn't accept into, we done a program where we'd accept them. We had a community where we had the kids come to this facility, and I would teach them, nutrition. I'd teach them how to train. I would teach them. Certain philosophies, because I was very good at philosophy. I love philosophy, right, and a bit of history as well. So I think that is a very good thing, and I'd love to endorse that. I'd love to help out in that sense as well.
Yeah, well, absolutely. We can wrap it up, bro. But before that, can you just tell people, like give a last message about your business, about yourself, just tell me, if there's like 1 billion people watching you right now, tell them what to do to be successful and happy and healthy and wealthy.
I'm gonna look right in the camera right here. I'm gonna be 100% honest. First of all, you're all very unique. There's not another one of me. There's not another one of you. Okay, that's your first superpower. Second of all, you're a soul having a human experience. Whether you want to believe that or not, one day you're gonna come to term and you're gonna realize how powerful you are as a soul, and you can create your own reality. Like they say, whatever you perceive in here, you'll manifest into reality. I'm a walking testament to that. If I can go through all the trials and tribulations, obstacles and adversities that I've been through to become the man I am today, you can too. And that's my message.
Legend. We're wrapping up, guys. Stitch Chronicles, baby.
Successful first session.
Yeah, man. Stitch Chronicles, it's done for today with my man, Gurkz. Thanks so much for being with us.
Where can they subscribe? Where can they find your channel?
We're gonna run the giveaway on Gurk's Instagram. I'll just post everything below the description. All my Instagram, his business, my business. I'll put my personal Instagram as well, Felipe Matos Hero. But I'll just link everything down the bottom. We're gonna run this giveaway by next week or the following week. I'll keep you guys updated. But thanks for tuning in, and Stitch Chronicles started, and yeah, let's get it. Hope everyone liked this, and yeah, let's go, baby.